teaching loose leash walking and why I don't use a leash to do it. I know, crazy, right? It's loose leash walking. We want to use a leash for that? Sure, eventually we do. But my main focus when I start to teach loose leash walking is teaching a nice position that's by my side, typically left-hand side for most handlers because most people are right-handed, so it's easier to have your dog on your left. And I want to teach them that's the zone where all the cookies are coming from. That's where I want my dog. I want to show them where I want them to be, not where I don't want them to be. I see a lot of people jerking on their dogs when they get in front of them or pulling them from behind when they get behind them. And the dog has to figure out this weird process of elimination to figure out what you want from them instead of showing them the exact position you'd like them to be in. I always err on the side of show the dog what you would like and practice that instead of what you don't want from them. So today we're going to look at a couple videos of the first sessions of working with a couple dog, a puppy and a dog, that I did in the last week where I'm starting loose leash walking concepts. It's not meant to be this soup to nuts, how do you do loose leash walking from beginning to end, and it's not meant to be competition healing. It's just supposed to be for a normal pet person who would like their dog to walk nicely next to them without dragging on a leash. And we're just going to show you the first couple steps that I use to teach the dog the position that I want them to be in instead of the position that I don't want them to be in. That's not very useful to me. You know, I want my dog to walk next to me whether or not I accidentally drop the leash. The leash is a safety belt, not a steering wheel, so I want to use the leash just in case something bad happens, not so that I have to have it on me all the time. So let's watch a couple videos, I'll explain what I'm doing, and we'll get started. The first thing I teach with any dog is a come to heel, or teaching them to go from in front of me to my side. Most dogs are always reinforced in front with eye contact coming from the front, staring at their human, looking at them. So we first have to teach them that you can get reinforcement on the side and you can look up at your human from the side and you don't have to be directly in front of them to look at your human, because most dogs really enjoy being able to look into your eyes and make that kind of contact. I want to show them that you can make that contact from the side. So I first teach them a come to heel or come to my side. So here you'll see me teaching the same position but outside, just generalizing to outside. And all we're doing here with this pup is they're following a cookie around in a circle until they get to my side. Now it's a little bit more challenging outside because there's a lot of distractions out there, so I want to make sure that they can follow that lure to my side when they're outdoors as well. So here we're just teaching that left-hand side position and that this is a place that you're going to get reinforcement. Here's a video of a different dog, not a puppy. So the first dog you saw was a 12-week-old puppy. This is an adult dog that was just recently rescued about 2 weeks ago. You'll notice here that I'm using the kitchen counter as a barrier or blocker so that the dog maintains the correct position. Most of the time, dogs will try to turn their butt out and look at you and try and get in that front position again. So doing it up against a wall or a counter or some type of blockage will help you get the correct position every time and help the dog get the correct position every time. I also feed to the outside of the dog's head so that it tips their butt in. And here actually you'll see I start doing it with a target instead of a cookie. So I'm doing that come to heel. There's no cookie in my hand. I'm having him target my hand, and then I'm reinforcing on the side. So he comes back, he touches my hand here, touches my hand in front. Now he's in position, I click, and now I'm reinforcing a little bit to the outside of his face so that he maintains that nice straight position so we could both walk off together. So once I've taught them that come to heel behavior, I start with a game called Join Up, where I'm going to be walking in a large left-hand circle or counterclockwise circle with my dog in an open space where they can choose to find that spot where they're going to get all the cookies. So here you'll see me walking. The puppy will chew their food because this puppy happens to stop, then find that position and not go ahead of me. So I'm clicking for him finding that position. He chews the food. He tends to just kind of sit there. If he weren't stopping to chew the food, I would actually be tossing the cookie behind me so that there was this constant path where I'm walking, the puppy catches up, finds position, and then gets the food behind, then catches up, finds position, then gets the food behind, so that they're learning to stop at my leg and to not go forward. So when we're first starting this game, the cookie is typically behind, or if your dog stops, you can just feed it directly to their mouth. And then they'll come up and find position. And you'll see him start to kind of fall in line
with my left-hand side and continually have the opportunity to find that position. You'll also see that he's dragging a long line. So I am in a fenced-in area, but with all of my puppies, I start them on a long line just to make sure if they get into any trouble, I have a bit of control. When you do this game, if you don't have a fenced-in yard, that's not a problem. You can just have them drag a large line, or if you have a stake, you could actually just use the stake in the ground with a 30-foot line so that they don't have the opportunity to run away, but you're also not controlling their behavior. Notice the dog is choosing to come to my side because they know that's where the reinforcement is coming from. They're not being forced to stay at my side. I want my dog to learn that the best place they can be is by my side, but it's their choice in this game right now. All I'm doing is creating a large reinforcement history in the position that I want. So now you'll see me playing this same game in the house. Typically I do start in the house, but with that puppy, the house wasn't really conducive to taping, so I wanted to show you what it looked like outside, because I do it in the house and then outside. So I'm starting here with this adult dog in the house. Now watch him follow me around, click and reinforce for coming slightly behind my left-hand leg, and then I'm going to toss the cookie behind, so he goes and gets the cookie. When he goes to get the cookie, I walk off. I wait for him to come up to my side. I click for going up to my side. Now, this dog doesn't have a lot of eye contact, so that's something we're definitely going to be working more with him with. But for now, I'm not worried about eye contact. I'm just worried about position. Now here, I'm going to start going all the way around this large center island, which is how I would do it in your house. This game works really well around a dining room table or a kitchen table. So you'll hear me go around the other side, click and reinforce in that giant counterclockwise circle with this dog. So I come around the side, and I'm always keeping my right-hand side pretty close to the counter or to the barrier on the right so that I'm giving the dog the opportunity to make the right choice, but I'm helping them also make that right choice. It doesn't make sense for him to go on the right-hand side, so there you see me blocking, and he comes over to the left-hand side, which is what I want. So I'm making the right choice easy and the wrong choice relatively hard. Once I've spent some time tossing the cookie behind and my dog is running up to my left-hand side and stopping and not trying to surge forward, I'll start rewarding to the mouth like I am here. So I take a couple steps, click reward, take a couple steps, click reward. This is a high reinforcement game, so a great game to play with your breakfast, lunch, or dinner, with your puppy or dog, but I'm using a lot of kibble here to give him a reward or treats, whatever you'd like to use, to show him this is the reinforcement position. The more generous you are at the beginning of these games and these first sessions, this is all just first day sessions with these dogs, the faster they'll learn and the faster you'll get the results that you want. So now you'll see me working with this dog outside. They do not have a fenced-in yard, and you'll see me on the shorter leash because we were working there in the backyard, and a German Shepherd came with his head through the fence barking at us, so that was not conducive to training, so I put a leash on him. So now you can see kind of what it looks like when you are using the leash. See how there's a lovely J in that leash? I'm not putting any tension on it. I'm holding it with my right hand. The leash isn't the thing that's keeping the dog connected with me. Now see if this dog forges ahead, I stop moving. So I'm not jerking on him. I'm not telling him, he's wrong or yelling at him or anything like that. I might give a couple little uh-uhs or something like that, but I'm mostly just stopping and then using that behavior that I already taught, that come to heel, to get him back in position. So we'll see if he forges ahead here again. Forges ahead, I stop, I don't move, I have him come back to heel, get him back into position, start walking, and then click and reward when he is walking with me again. Okay, so I'm not doing this yo-yo effect where I'm having him he hits the end of the leash, comes back and gets a cookie for it. I'm waiting until we're walking together before I reinforce, because the walking together is really what I want to reinforce. Now you'll notice that he gets a little stuck over by that shed every time. That's the exit of the house, so he's excited to go for a walk. Probably my next session I'll spend more time, higher rate of reinforcement in that area, and spend some time working over there so he knows that that's an area that he still has to pay attention. But notice there's no pulling, jerking, anything like that. I'm just simply not going to move forward, which is what he wants, when he pulls on my leash. In this final clip, you'll see me working with the puppy in a straight line, and you'll see the very high rate of reinforcement that I'm using. We're working by this cat that's a distraction, definitely, for the puppy. And that's not ideal the first day, but for this puppy, there's a lot of animals around, so she sees the cat all the time. this is where I ended the session with this puppy, and what you saw with the pit mix, that is where I ended that session. So this was my first day with loose leash walking for these dogs. So the big takeaways here are teaching a come to heel, teaching join up, showing the dog where you want them to be, not where you don't want them to be, and reinforcing that good left-hand side walking behavior. Loose leash walking is not something that can be taught overnight. Start today by teaching your dog that choosing to walk with you is in their best interest. Happy training!